Welcome back to my YouTube channel Coins One Dime, where today we dive deep into the rich, fascinating, detailed history of the 1975 one-dime coin, also known as the Roosevelt dime, a coin that holds an iconic place in American numismatics and represents not just a small denomination, but a powerful symbol of American history, leadership, economy, and change. Let us begin by traveling back in time to understand the roots of the dime itself before we reach the specific moment of the 1975 one. Dime. The United States dime has existed since the Coinage Act of 1792, when Congress authorized the creation of a 10-cent piece. The word dime itself comes from the Latin decimus, meaning tenth, reflecting its value as 1/10 of a dollar. The earliest dimes were called draped bust dimes, issued between 1796 and 1807, featuring liberty with flowing hair and a small eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the dime's design evolved from the capped bust to the seated liberty to the barber dime, until the Mercury dime appeared in 1916. The Mercury dime, though beloved by collectors, was replaced in 1946 following the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt was a towering figure in American history, a four-term president who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. His image was chosen for the dime to honor his support of the March of Dimes, a fundraising effort to combat polio, the disease Roosevelt himself had battled. This brings us to the Roosevelt dime series, introduced in 1946, designed by John Arsenic, the 10th chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The obverse features a portrait of Roosevelt facing left, while the reverse bears a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the right symbolizing strength. The Roosevelt dime remained largely unchanged in design through the decades, but it underwent an important change in composition in 1965 when the Coinage Act eliminated silver from circulating dimes, replacing it with a copper-nickel clad to address rising silver prices and hoarding. This means the 1975 Roosevelt dime is a clad coin made of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, weighing to 27 grams and measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter. The 1975 dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark and at the Denver Mint with a D mint mark, and collectors today often seek examples from both mints to complete their sets. It's important to highlight that there were no proof dimes issued with a 1975 date from the San Francisco Mint, because in preparation for the nation's bicentennial celebration, special 1776 to 1976 dual-dated coins were struck starting in 1975, including quarters, half dollars, and dollars, but not dimes. So any so-called 1975 proof dime is an unusual case, often connected to experimental or accidental strikes, making them extraordinarily rare and valuable. The 1975 dime reflects the design consistency of the series, but its context in U.S. history is rich with economic and cultural significance. During the mid-1970s, the United States was grappling with stagflation, economic slowdown, inflation, rising energy prices, and shifts in political leadership under President Gerald Ford. The coinage of the time offers a snapshot of the American economy in transition, where the value of small change still mattered deeply to everyday citizens who used these coins in payphones, vending machines, laundromats, parking meters, and countless daily transactions. The minting process for the 1975 dime involved high-speed presses, striking blank blankets with detailed dies under immense pressure to create precise images and inscriptions. Collectors value sharply struck examples with full details, especially on Roosevelt's hair and the torch reverse, known in the hobby as full torch or full bands. Examples. The examination of 1975 dimes includes looking for errors and varieties such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped blankets, which can dramatically increase a coin's desirability and value beyond face value. Though the majority of 1975 dimes circulated in the billions and remain common in pocket change, their historical importance makes them a great entry point for beginning collectors or historians who want to connect with the past. Examining the social history of the 1970s adds even more depth to the story of this small coin. In 1975, the Vietnam War was ending. The civil rights movement had reshaped American society. Women were gaining new ground in workplace equality, and pop culture icons like Jaws and Saturday Night Live were shaping the cultural landscape. The dime moved silently through these historic shifts, a quiet witness to changing times numismatically. The Roosevelt dime series spans many decades, but coins like the 1975 issue help us appreciate the evolution of coin collecting itself, from early silver proofs to clad circulation strikes, from mass production to the art of identifying small details and varieties that make certain examples stand out among billions. Understanding the history of the U.S. Mint and its operations at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco gives further appreciation for the logistical achievements behind circulating billions of coins each year. The 1975 dime represents a moment in this continuous flow of American commerce, industry, and design, and the legacy of Franklin Roosevelt as a leader remains forever enshrined in the nation's pocket change, which millions carried daily, often without realizing the historical weight in their hands. When we think about how the dime has endured as a denomination for over 2 centuries, adapting in metal composition, design, and production methods, we gain a sense of the resilience and continuity of American currency. In an age where digital transactions now dominate, the dime still carries meaning, both as legal tender and as a collector's item. The details on the Roosevelt dime, obverse and reverse the minting technology used to produce it, the economic and cultural conditions of 1975, the presence of varieties and errors, the survival of high-grade examples in coin rolls or mint sets, all come together to form a layered, multi-dimensional story that can fill hours of discussion and exploration for the coin collector, the historian, or the casual enthusiast. So today, as we focus on the 1975 one-dime coin, we honor not just a small piece of metal, but a symbol of American resilience, leadership, economic transition, and cultural memory. A coin that remains in circulation, but that also holds stories that stretch back to the founding of the nation, the rise of modern minting technology, the leadership of Roosevelt, and the everyday lives of millions of Americans in the 1970s. Thank you for joining me today on Coins One Dime. Stay tuned as we continue our journey through the world of coins, exploring the history, the artistry, the cultural context, and the timeless fascination of numismatics together.